Story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major stories, the Federal Capital Territory Commissioner of Police, Joseph Mbu, bans all protest over the abducted Chibok schoolgirls in Abuja with immediate effect. Also in this program, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola calls for an all-inclusive participation in the ongoing fight against Boko Haram. The Independent National Electoral Commission assures Nigerians that the 2015 elections will hold in the northeast states of Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno. And outside Nigeria, King Juan Carlos of Spain finally abdicates throne to allow his son take over after 39 years.
Tonight on Business Top Story, federal government assures Nigerians of food security and economic growth despite insecurity in the northeast.
On sports tonight, Nigeria's midfielder Ogeyi Onaza denies match-fixing allegation.
Thanks for joining us again on CoreTV Primetime News. Now, details of the news headlines and other stories. The Federal Capital Territory Commissioner of Police, Joseph Mbu, has banned all protest over the abducted Chibok schoolgirls in the territory with immediate effect. Mbu, who announced the ban at the news conference in Abuja, says the trend of the protest in the FCT was posing a serious security threat. He says that after a group under the aegis of Bring Back Our Girls protested on April 28th, another group, Release Our Girls, emerged. Mbu, the former Rivers State Police Commissioner, explained that information at the disposal of the command indicated that dangerous elements were about to hijack the protest, hence the ban. He also added that a situation where the Fountain of Unity, venue of gathering for the protest, was being turned into a place for cooking and selling was embarrassing. He called on the people of the territory to encourage the security agencies in the war against terrorism and criminality by appreciating the sacrifices they had made and would continue to make. Asked whether the ban would not violate freedom of expression and assembly of the protesters, the commissioner said that one person's freedom should not affect other people's freedom. The police authorities have launched an extensive counter-terrorism campaign nationwide as part of efforts to stem the tide of insurgency in the country. The campaign, which involves massive distribution of fact sheets as well as distress call numbers, is meant to improve overall sense of communal safety. Pius Samuel reports that some of the campaign materials are in local languages to ensure that more Nigerians are involved.
As the Boko Haram insurgency continues to defy solutions, the police authorities are keen on using a newly introduced counter-terrorism booklet to hand down security tips. The materials are translated into a number of local languages including Kanuri and Fulfulde, with a view to raising security consciousness among members of the public. The idea, according to the police, is to ensure that Nigerians are well informed about potential risks in their immediate communities.
The counter-terrorism campaign, which will involve the production of various educational and enlightenment materials in different forms and in different languages, is designed to actually highlight the basic rules of the citizens in the ongoing battle against terror, insurgency, and other forms of violent crimes across the nation.
The police is determined to ensure that the message reaches majority of Nigerians. And to make distribution easier, the materials are to be kept in easily accessible areas.
We also intend to push these copies to strategic areas such as banking halls, the airports, and major shopping malls, as well as cinemas. And we have similar productions in both the Hausa language, the Kanuri language, Fulfulde, Igbo language.
The police authorities are convinced that if more Nigerians are well informed on how to identify a potential terrorist, the task of containing insurgency will be a lot easier for security forces. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Borno State governor says even though it has received only 200 million naira as federal government's contribution to the war against Boko Haram, it has spent over 10 billion naira from its resources in providing material support for the military operation in the state. Secretary to the Borno State government, Babajida, revealed this in a transcript of a meeting held with journalists in Lagos. It says the state was forced to disclose the figures as a result of a growing campaign of calumny against the state government. He explained that it was sad that certain individuals had taken it upon themselves to misinform the public by accusing the state government of doing nothing to assist the military in its operations in the state. He added that the state had earlier decided not to make its expenditure on the fight against Boko Haram public because Governor Kashim Shettima always restrained officials so as not to appear to be embarrassing the federal government. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has suggested that an all-inclusive participation in the ongoing fight against insurgents will yield positive results. He encouraged that the state government within the federation should be fully involved in the security fight. Abiola Oluwole has more in this report presented from our studios. Federal government to accept the demands of the Boko Haram sect for exchange of prisoners for the abducted girls has been frowned upon. Public affairs analyst Olabode Oseyin says the federal government has not done well by this development.
We are making mockery of governance in this country. We are making mockery of governance, and our actions, our attitudes toward human lives is so bad that as we speak, 50 days on, the so-called Chibok abducted girls, we don't even know what their mental health situations are. And that is a very bad thing. And the whole world is looking at us and say, what are they doing about it? So, and we continue having a government that is contradicting, saying one thing, one person will say one thing, another one will say another thing, and in the process we have three conflicting information that are not helpful to the people. So, this is a very serious situation, needs a very drastic solution.
Speaking in the same vein, a legal practitioner, Bosun Oshifowora, says the federal government's drag-foot approach to the freedom of the abducted girls is traumatizing.
I don't know what the government is doing. This is not the first time. America just did one. Israel exchanged a soldier for 1,200 Palestinian prisoners a couple of years ago. UK gave back al-Maghari, the Libyan, to the Libyan government for economic gains. So while the government is slowing down on this thing, where the people have made a definite position that give us our people back, and you take your girls, it's a dereliction of duty on the part of government. I don't know. The government, as far as I'm concerned, have failed in this regard.
In a related development, the Nigeria Police Force in Zone 10 have adopted new security measures to prevent the influx of arms into the country through its area of jurisdiction. The police chief in the area, Bala Hassan, who made this known in Sokoto, says the measures would make it impossible for illegal arms importation and other forms of criminality to be carried out in the zone. Competent officers, according to him, had been deployed to border communities in Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states to apprehend any person or group of people engaged in the act. Hassan explained that the police had engaged community leaders in border areas to support the efforts by providing relevant intelligence report on the movement of dubious characters. The police have arrested 14 suspects over the recent shootout between the pipeline vandals and a police team at Arepo area of Ogun State. Police spokesman Frank Mba also revealed that a search and rescue team is on the ground to look for 9 policemen who are still missing.
Search and rescue efforts are ongoing and investigations are ongoing, and I'm equally glad to report that we've made reasonable, steady progress in that regard. 14 suspects are currently in our custody, and as at this morning, 3 assorted rifles have been recovered, and the search and investigations are being intensified. We will keep you posted as we make progress.
INEC says nothing will stop it from conducting elections in Adamawa, Borno and Yobe come 2015. Find out the details of these after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge, you test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality brand.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. You're watching CoreTV Prime Time News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter. It's at CoreTV News NG. Also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. The Independent National Electoral Commission has assured Nigerians that the 2015 elections would hold in the northeast states of Yobe, Adamawa and Borno. This brings to end speculations that elections will not be conducted in the 3 states due to security challenges. INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega told a visiting delegation from the Association of Advertising Agencies in Nigeria that last week's State House of Assembly election in Yobe State has allayed all fears about the process in the region. He, however, wants politicians to play by the rules and refrain from acts that could heat up the polity ahead of the elections. The case instituted by E11, a socio-political group of elites in Ekiti State seeking the disqualification of the candidates of the PDP in the June 21st governorship election, has suffered setback at the Ekiti State High Court as it was sent back to the Chief Judge for reassignment. Counsel to E11 react to the development.
When we got to court and were directed to meet the investigation director for further briefing. When we got there, she only informed us that the matter will be reassigned by the Chief Judge and that he's going to take the file there for reassignment of the case.
The High Court premises was filled with security operatives, hoping the case will be for mentioning, but the counsel to the E11 said no contact.
We're lawyers, we don't speculate. We don't act on conjecture. We must act based on fact, hard fact. So up to now, we're in the dark on what caused that reassignment of this case this morning. So we are taking it back. So we will wait for the reassignment.
The case was withdrawn from the judge earlier assigned following the petition sent by the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party over what they described as an established likelihood of bias of Justice Monisola Abodunde in the dispensation of fair judgment on cases against Ayo Fayoshe. Educational index as one of the yardsticks with which a nation's development is measured. The development of the university system in Nigeria is the focus of the Association of Nigeria's Vice Chancellor's Summit scheduled to kick off in Ado-Ekiti on June 3rd. Vice Chancellors who arrived at Ado-Ekiti ahead of the meeting paid a courtesy call on Governor Kayode Fayemi. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
Ekiti State has made giant strides in the area of educational development in recent times that no doubt must have informed why the 3-day Vice-Chancellor's meeting was scheduled to take place in the state, which has the highest number of professors in the country. Lamenting the decaying state of educational facilities in the country, legal luminary Afeba Balola says the summit is timely to salvage the future of the nation.
What education was in the 60s is not what it is today. So we are going to hold a 3-day meeting discussing the way forward.
The chairman of the Association of Vice Chancellors, Joseph Ajeka, decries the level of neglect of the university system, saying no nation can experience real development without a strong university system.
To sustain a system that is difficult to sustain. And that is why the theme of this conference is very important. We must ensure that the educational system is sustainable, and if it is, then the economy of the nation will be sustainable.
The host governor, Kayode Fayemi, pointed to the importance of education and the giant stride made by his government in making education a priority.
Education for us is not just, it's not a fad, it's not a fashion, it's a duty, and we see it as the greatest antidote to poverty. We are particularly passionate. It's not accidental, of course, that this is probably the only state where you have academics as governor and deputy.
The summit with the theme Achieving a Sustainable Educational System will attract all vice chancellors from state, federal and private universities to Ado-Ekiti, discussing the future of education in the country. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Nigeria's foreign policy must be dynamic to reflect the realities of the modern world. Foreign policy for Nigeria has not witnessed any significant change since independence. This was the subject of deliberations at a 2-day retreat on Nigeria's foreign policy in a contemporary world held at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. Olajumoke Olatunji was there. The details.
In a retreat titled Aspects of Nigerians' Foreign Policy in Contemporary Times, the Director General of Nigeria Institute for International Affairs, Bola Akintarewa, says the foreign policy enacted by Tafawa Balewa administration is still in force and needs to be modified to fit the demands of the modern world.
To a great extent, we've been running away from this leadership role, and that is where we have come up with a foreign policy that has not been. In other words, there's no reason why Nigeria should not be in the forefront of the discussion of any African issue, why we should not be playing leadership roles in Africa.
One-time Foreign Affairs Minister Jubril Aminu attributed the relative success of Nigerian foreign policy to the adaptation of some of the leaders in the country. He added that a foreign policy retreat of this nature is necessary at this time.
Foreign policy, like everything, is capable of improvement. But our foreign policy as a country from independence has been very successful. And the acid test is you can go to anywhere in this world, nobody is looking for you to kill because you are a Nigerian. That is not true of many other great nations.
Promotion of Nigeria's cultural system will place Nigeria in a better position in the Committee of Nations in the world. Those participants condemned terror attacks in the nation and the adoption of female students in Chibok, stressing that the foreign military intervention is a step in the right direction.
There are several aspects of culture that can interplay in the formulation of foreign policies, and I picked 3 out of this. First is indigenous knowledge systems. Before, in quotes now, the white man came, we have our indigenous knowledge in terms of agri practice, healthcare, governance, banking, and all of that, science and technology. So our foreign policies must reflect our indigenous knowledge systems. Getting others outside Nigeria to help us in search of our girls that have been abducted is the correct way to go.
Furthermore, a member of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Matthew Nwago, says this retreat will yield a positive result as they have gathered materials to make the country's foreign policy align with modern realities.
We are trying to do today to gather materials, information, and suggestions that can help us modify our policy, foreign policy, and make it in line, in tune with modern expectations and modern realities. And try and improve on our existing policy, make it more workable, and more realistic, and more effective.
Nigeria is one of the most populous nations in the world, with an estimated figure of over 160 million people. The country has its citizens live in virtually all parts of the globe. The country surely needs a strong, viable foreign policy to protect the interests of our citizens wherever they may be. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break. When we return, it will be time for business and sports stories. Stay with us.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
A 24-hour news station.
Well, you're welcome to the world of business. Godwin Emefiele has now assumed office as the new central bank governor. The mandate of Emefiele will be to keep the inflation rate, which reached 7.9% in April, the 6% to 9% target band. He will, together with other members of the Monetary Policy Committee, NPC, decide whether or not to keep the naira at the midpoint currency peg of 155 naira to a dollar. At his Senate confirmation, Emefiele said the devaluation of naira will be devastating for the economy, although the level of Nigerian dollar reserves down 16.6% year-to-date to $37.3 billion may provide a better indication of the CBN's ability to defend the currency. Nigerian stocks have dropped 4.3% year-to-date as the heavyweight banking sector sold off on concerns over the impact of increased regulations on profitability. The size of Nigeria's retail banking market has the potential to grow to about 10 million people in 5 years, rivaling South Africa. This growth will be influenced by new initiatives of biometric credit bureaus, a more efficient housing collateral mechanism, and technology. Investors in the power sector have justified June 1st, 2014 increase in the electricity tariff announced by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. They said electricity consumers would have been asked to pay far higher than what was announced by the Commission if not for the reduction in the wholesale price of power generated. This was done in order to forestall the unbearable increase in electricity tariff by the consumers. The Trade Union Congress has argued that an increase in the tariff, despite poor power supply, would give credence to the belief that the government was seeking to impoverish Nigerians. Transactions on the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on Monday on a positive note, as major equities recorded increasing their prices by 0.07%. The All Shares Index appreciated by 27.9 points to close at 41,502.40 basis points. Market capitalization increased by 9 billion naira to close at 13.70 trillion naira. Analysis of the price movement chart showed that Fort Oil led by the gainers chart, followed by Nestle PLC, Seplat, Nigerian Brewers PLC, and Total Oil PLC. Conversely, Dangote Cement topped the losers chart, followed by Guinness PLC, MRS, GTB Bank, and Zenith Bank. In all, investors staked at 11.54 billion naira on 418.49 million shares transacted in 6,063 deals, representing an increase in 37.66%. And here are the top 5 trades.
And that's it on Business News. I am Sabena Izoku. Over to Tolu Ochaomi, who will be giving all the details on sport news. Stay with us.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, no, he takes Puyol with a flying lead.
Go, taking them out in the lead.
Good evening now to the ever-exciting world of sports. Nigerian midfielder Oge Onaze has denied any involvement in match fixing after being caught up in a newspaper sting. Onaze, 21, was caught on the camera planted by English paper The Sun, meeting with player agent Henry Chukwuma Okoroje and an alleged match fixer. The fixer claimed he could ensure a yellow card for £40,000 and a penalty for more than £80,000 during matches at the 2014 finals in Brazil. Onaze, who plays his club football for Lazio, took to Twitter on Sunday night to insist he was only present at the meeting to discuss an endorsement proposition. Gambo Mohamed saved the Saimaso Giras blushes with the only goal of the match in the dying moments of the second half as Canopilas claim all 3 points. Dolphins produced a masterclass performance with a 3-1 victory over Lobby Stars. Giwa FC defeat Nembe City by 3-0. Sunshine Stars were 3-2 better than El Kanemi Warriors, while Enugu Ranger were a lone goal better than Kaduna United. In other results, Warrior Wolves had a 2-1 victory over Nasarawa United. Abia Warrior 2-1 over Gombe. Sharks lost by a lone goal to Taraba, while Aqua United continued their fine form with a 2-1 victory over Crown FC. And to EPL transfer, Southampton and England striker Ricky Lambert has moved to Liverpool for a fee of about £4 million plus add-ons. The 32-year-old is part of England's World Cup squad but had a medical while on international duty and is believed to have signed a 2-year deal. The Liverpool-born forward spent 5 years at Anfield as a youth player. Lambert, who has 2 goals in 4 England appearances, scored 14 goals in 39 games for Southampton in the past season. In all, he has netted 117 times in 235 appearances since joining the South Coast club from Bristol Rovers in 2009. Now to French Open, Rafael Nadal coasted past Dusan Lajovic in the last 16 of the French Open with a 6-1, 6-2, 6-1 win that sets up a meeting with David Ferrer in the last 8. 8-time champion and world number 1 Nadal improved his Roland Garros win-loss record to a remarkable 63-1 to advance, having not dropped a set in Paris this year. World number 83 Lajovic, who had not previously lost a set on his French Open debut, quickly went 5-love down and never recovered, also losing the first 4 games of the second set to love. The 5th seed Ferrer, who lost in straight sets to Rafael Nadal in his maiden major final 12 months ago, needed 2 hours and 51 minutes to oust Anderson. It is the 32-year-old's 5th time in the quarterfinals at Roland Garros. Now to boxing, Michael Kessler wants a 3rd fight against IBF and WBA super middleweight champion Carl Froch, who beat challenger George Groves on Saturday. Kessler, 35, beat Froch in 2010 before losing his WBA belt on points in the second clash in London in May 2013. Froch, 36, knocked Groves out with a huge right hand in the 8th round of their rematch at Wembley Stadium in London on Saturday and has placed on record his desire to fight in Las Vegas. Kessler, who announced his retirement following the defeat to Froch but returned to boxing last month, said, "It is no secret that I crave the big fights. A rematch with Nottingham's Froch would be the 5th and the 50th fight of Kessler's career." And that's it on Sports Tonight. A big thank you to you for watching. I'm Tolu Ojewomi. Good evening. Over to Gift or Getter for the rest of the news.
You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. Thank you so much, Tolu and Sabina, for business and sports news. For more information on our news and other programs, please visit us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG and also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. Spain's King Juan Carlos has officially announced his decision to abdicate the throne to allow for the renewal of the monarchy, thereby ending a 4-decade rule marred by recent scandals. In a televised broadcast to the nation, the king stated that he is abdicating the throne of Spain to open up a better future which will correct past mistakes. He is living in favor of his son, Prince Felipe, ending a 39-year reign that ushered in democracy but was later battered by royal scandals. The 76-year-old monarch, crowned in November 1975 after the death of General Francisco Franco, is stepping down, dogged by health woes and with his popularity deeply eroded by scandals swirling round him and his family. NATO and Russia had a very frank exchange of views on the Ukraine crisis, but found no common ground in the first such meeting since Moscow annexed Crimea. The meeting clearly showed that there are fundamentally different views on this crisis, on its origin, on what is happening now, and on how it should be resolved. There had been some hope that the meeting, the first since Crimea annexation in March, could serve to ease tensions after Russia began withdrawing troops marched on the Ukraine border, and progress was made in talks with Ukraine on resolving their dispute over gas deliveries. NATO member states repeated their very strong and clear position on the illegal and illegitimate annexation of Crimea. They made clear that they would not recognize it and commended the elections in Ukraine as a clear vote for the unity of the country. They also called on Russia to engage constructively with the newly elected president. The Ukraine crisis will be a major talking point at the meeting of NATO defense ministers in Brussels on Tuesday and Wednesday. United States support for Ukraine, including the $18 million in security assistance pledged so far, has doubled. Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs, Derek Chollet, says the contribution will strengthen long-term defense cooperation, especially in helping Ukraine build highly effective armed forces and institutions. He added that the United States remain committed to working with Ukraine and other partners to find a peaceful resolution to the
security
conflict.
Assistance for Ukraine, and importantly, strengthening our long-term defense cooperation, especially in helping Ukraine build a highly effective armed forces and strengthening its defense institutions. Discussed the ongoing violence perpetrated by Russian-backed separatists in the east, seeking to undermine the democratically elected government of the unified Ukraine. Condemns and rejects Russia's occupation and attempted annexation of Crimea, and remains committed to working with Ukraine and other partners to find a peaceful resolution.
And that's our show for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Gift Ogete. Join us again tomorrow. Good night.